I mentioned one of your shattered mirror moments about ballet and having that injury, which of course you went on to do great things. You don't have children. That was not by choice. You called it another shattered mirror moment, which I think is so descriptive. And I think it's important we hear your voice and your experience after that particular door closed. And I say that as we often hear about infertility struggles and what that entailed, but often with a miracle baby at the end. But that's not your story.
No, that was not my story. I wasn't, honestly, not for the lack of trying, because I have always and still do love babies. And I'm very blessed. I have 6 godchildren. I have nephews and nieces around the world. But I don't know, that maternal instinct is something that's very you. I believe that it's a woman's choice. It's your choice whether you want to have children, and it shouldn't be imposed on you. Just because you're a woman, you should have a child. That should not be the case. But as a very personal thing was, I always wanted to have children. And when I was married the first time, that was very clear in our path that, this was a marriage about having children, next generation and all that. And when the first time it happened, it didn't happen. So I went and did fertility to aid in the process. And I think that that's the worst moment to go through, is every month you feel like such a failure, because
there comes the blood, so it means
right.
It hasn't happened, yeah.
And then you go like, why? Why is this? And I think at some point you stop blaming yourself and go, it is, there are certain things in your body that doesn't function in a certain way. That's how it is. You just have to let go and move on. And I think you come to a point where you have to stop blaming you.
I think getting to that point of letting go or acceptance, I'm really interested how you reconciled that and how long that took.
Sometimes, honestly, I still think about it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm 62. Of course, I'm not going to have a baby right now, but
although we've done some stories on women.
But the thing is, we just had a grandchild on the 1st of January.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So, that makes the miracles. Then you feel you're still very, very blessed because you do have a baby in your life. I think it took a long time because at that also maybe would be the main factor that broke up my first marriage.
That is heartbreaking.
Yeah, but you also have to understand, I think these are conversations that you really have to have with yourself and be able to look ahead and think, yes, we love each other very much now, but in 10 years or 20 years, I still can't give him the family that he craves for. And you have to be fair. Sometimes, that's why these dialogue between a couple is so important.
Yes.
Like if one wants and the other doesn't, this is something you have to face right at the beginning, because along the way there will be a lot of, hurt and
difficult times.
Yes, and so I think it was very brave on our path to admit.
Definitely.
To say, okay, let's not drag this out, because that's what we are doing. Because, we tried for...
He went on to have children.
Oh, yes.
And I believe you're a godmother to...
No, I'm godmother to his eldest.
Yes.
My beautiful Dee Poon.
And thank you for sharing all that, because it's obviously very personal. But I think it might be helpful to some people that are getting news similar to what you got back then, or maybe went through it a while ago. But I do want to end on congratulations, you got married last year. I mean, you got an Oscar as well. We can just throw that into the mix. But
everything happened one year.
Everything everywhere all at once.
I know, I'm so blessed. I mean, we've been, Jean and I have been together for like 20 years. And bless him, he's been so patient, because he proposed the first within the first few months we were
That's
together.
what I thought. I was like, didn't I read somewhere that you were
did.
engaged
And
after
we
about
said
a
yes.
year?
And I said yes.
Yes.
And then, the life, so many things happen. And we said, okay, if we get married, it has to be small. It has to be intimate. And then by the time we sit down and go, I have a huge family.
Yeah.
And by the time you go like, no, let's think about this. And in fact, we got married. The registry was in Geneva. And the process of applying for a license, it's a long process. And we started it even before Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, and then suddenly, just before the Oscars as well, during that whole January, February, March campaign, we received a letter saying, okay, we've processed it, you've passed it, and it's 27th of July this year. And we go like, So if you said, and Jean was so sweet, he was like, okay, how about we postpone it? Because he knew I
love it, postpone.
I was filming here in London for Wicked. I was traveling back and forth to New York, LA, Santa Barbara for Everything Everywhere All at Once. So he said, why don't we do it the next year? And I thought, but once you say no to the date, you have to reapply.
Oh, God, no. Can't be doing that.
And I go like, no, let's do it. We're fortunate that we are given a date. Why do you say no to a blessing? So we said yes. And then I won the Oscars. And then we're like, oh, my God, okay. Oh, yeah. Then we have to finish filming Wicked. And then went and got married. Oh, my God. What a year. What an incredible year.
And a lovely granddaughter that came along as well.